With us now in studio, the first black female to be appointed CEO of Mnet South Africa. She is Yolisa Phahle. Yolisa, welcome to GIBS, welcome to the show. Tell me about your background, first of all, because it's an interesting one. You grew up as an exile in London.
Well, I was actually born in London, but my parents, like many people in the 1960s, did leave South Africa and went abroad with the intention, I think, of raising awareness around what was happening in the country. Happily, they're both back in South Africa now.
And did that shape you as you were growing up?
Definitely. I mean, I think from a very, very young age, the conversation was always focused on what is happening in South Africa, you know, what do we need to do. The news was a big story for us, and of course there were very many South African people in and out of our home.
Including Bra Hugh.
Including Bra Hugh, yeah, who I just thought of as a jolly uncle who, you know, used to come and get the party started. Well, of course he's an iconic performer. Somebody who actually introduced me to South African music.
Before you moved into broadcasting, you yourself were a musician.
Yes, I was. My parents were very good and they encouraged us to try everything. I mean, one of the fortunate things about being brought up in the UK was the access to education. So I took to music. I loved music, and in fact at the age of 18 I left school to study music, classical music, full time, and then went on to perform with a number of pop bands all over the world.
Sounds fun. From that to the rather more staid world of broadcast and broadcast management.
Yes, well, I mean, it was great fun. I mean, yeah, like bands like Soul II Soul and Duran Duran were iconic bands at the time. So I did have a pretty kind of glamorous life, but something in the back of my mind was always telling me that, you know, when you're 50, is this going to work? Are you going to be able to support a family? You know, how much of your brain are you really using? And I became increasingly interested in the producer's role, you know, the editorial choices that were made by those people. And by hook or by crook and through the back door, I finally found myself into the BBC World Service in London.
And you became a senior producer, and from there, back home.
Yes, so I became a senior producer for the BBC and had two young children. Wanted my children very much to understand South Africa because I have a lot of family here, and came over here with the intention of just kind of spending a year. Found myself working for Channel O at Mnet and just loved it. Just decided then, right there and then, that this was the place to be, that broadcasting, that music, the stories, the South African film and television industry completely bit me, and I'm here today.
And just been appointed CEO of Mnet. How do you see the job?
I see the job as a wonderful opportunity to continue to focus on building our industry. We will invest, and we are investing more and more money every year into local content. We want to tell local stories in local languages. We're committed to the transformation of the industry. So, you know, we will be running internships. We have run internships. We want to build black-owned production companies for the future.
One of the big ticks, if I can call it that, on your CV, of course, is the Mzansi channels. 4 of them. They're your baby.
Yeah, well, they're my baby, and I think the success I have to attribute to a fantastic team. I mean, I am a musician and I've been a band member, and I know that nothing gets done without a great team, without determination, without passion. So for us, the opportunity to tell these stories, the opportunity to bring new genres, telenovelas, to South Africa has been hugely exciting, and I think there's lots more work to be done.
Do you believe as a manager it's really helped you to have been a specialist, to have been a musician in your instance?
I think so. I think the more competitive the world becomes, the more you actually need people who understand intricate details about the product and the process to be given the power to make the big decisions. So I think Mnet's restructure is really in line with our belief that, you know, if we're going to go forward, then we need to basically have the strategy of local content, the strategy of localization, but put specialists in those positions. So I am focusing on South Africa, but we've also appointed specialists for East Africa and West Africa.
Now, much is being made, Yolisa, of the fact that you're A, black, and B, a woman in a very senior job. How do you feel about that? Is it shaping your thinking?
You know what, it's actually scaring me more and more every day. At first I was like, okay, what's the big deal? And then I suddenly realised that, you know, even today, women are hugely underrepresented in the sort of higher levels of management and corporate, I guess. And then I realised, okay, so this is significant, because many of us want equality. And then I also thought to myself, well, you know, this opportunity would never have been afforded to my grandmother or possibly my mother, quite simply because of the colour of their skin. So it is definitely a sign that things are changing. But I think for me it's also a huge responsibility, because I have this opportunity as a result of people who've literally laid down their lives, you know, for the democracy that some of us are enjoying today.
Well, we wish you enormous success as CEO of MNet. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.